was like I did this presentation in other groups, so I'm doing it.
Sure.
Una está buscando en Marketplace.
Sí.
Es que sería bueno.
Es que para entrenar no tengo confianza de que en las calles, de que compensa, no te pega.
Si quieres entrar en un lugar muy bueno para la bici, buenísimo, está ahí en el sur, casi por Machaca, se llama lugar
¿Como un circuito?
es un circuito para pura bicicleta, nadie más puede entrar en pura bicicleta. Se llama,
¿Será que es un grupo de 4 millas?
ándale, ¿cómo se llama?
Bueno, mira, yo no tengo bici, pero that's the only thing that's stopping me is the people.
That's a good place to ride road bike si quieres entrenar, that's a good one.
Uy, started.
Do we want to wait for like 10 more minutes or want to get started?
It's up to you.
Good call. 6:30?
Yeah, right, a few more minutes.
Do we want to maybe like do some quick soft intros just so everyone can know each other here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah? You want to start, Mario?
Hello, my name is Mario. I'm presenting. I'm a software engineer. I was previously working for a startup, and now I'm just working for the library as a volunteer. And while I'm not doing that, I'm also trying to get a master's degree in computer science.
Nice. You might go like maybe this way?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Rami. I live here. Currently working on a startup focused on go-to-market operations for construction materials. So I'm focused on software. I'm mainly more of I guess on the research side, if you will, but kind of wear multiple hats. But that's me.
Okay.
Malice. I just moved from Denver. I graduated, or got my certificate back in November as a front-end software engineer. But now I'm in Texas in Austin.
I'm Guillermo, Memo for short. I'm a financial planner, and I help people with tax planning and income planning. And yeah, I know a few of these guys here, but nice to meet everybody.
Yeah.
I'm Pedro. I'm a geospatial analyst, and yeah, I'm trying to be more involved with Techqueria, so here we are.
Short and sweet. Yeah. Gerardo Vasquez. I'm an ex-engineer that does fractional CTO work for pre-seed startups. I'm also a chapter director here in Austin.
And I'm Cheek. I'm another chapter director and also a software engineer.
Cool. Yeah. So the live stream already started. We can get started whenever we want. I don't know if anyone is stuck in traffic. I know we have like about 20 RSVPs. So we can go fast and slow. We have this room until 8:30. It's up to us to do whatever we want with the time. And we have some viewers here too. In a minute, I'll go in the front and just say, think about our sponsors, and we can get started with that. Sure, sounds good. Cinco más.
How long were you in Denver for?
I was there for 4 years.
Oh, nice.
And then before that I was in Houston.
Okay.
And before that I was in California.
Okay.
Originally from California.
And before that?
Somewhere in the sky. Yeah. It was nice. It's a lot of outdoor activities.
Sure.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Have you guys been?
Couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skiing, snowboarding?
Yeah.
Never tried it, not yet. But I've heard a lot of people about it.
So fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got really into whitewater rafting. Yeah.
Really? I heard
Love
that's like
it.
super hard.
I mean like the medium one.
Okay.
That one's perfect, to be honest. Like good speed. But yeah, I loved it. It was fun.
How, like, the boat's probably like this big, right?
Yeah, it was about like 8 people I could fit in there.
Oh, inside of the.
There's a boat, but
Oh,
it's como, it's like a
raft.
raft. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Y luego like just like 3 people in front of me, pero if everybody collaborates.
Are they all like your friends or they're just like random people?
I mean, yeah, most of them were my friends, you know, like some strangers.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could go by yourself.
A lot of trust, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the kayaking here won't be a problem.
Oh,
These
you know
are
what's funny?
pretty
I've never done kayaking.
Really?
Mhm,
Yeah, it's really popular. I'm sure tomorrow or this weekend you'll see like the lake.
Yeah. Oh yes, the popular lake. I went for my birthday to go see the bats migrate back to Mexico. Yeah, that
Oh,
was
really?
fun.
When
Yeah.
was that? When did it
That
happen?
was September, like
Okay.
September 20th.
Are you
It's
talking
like
about the
late,
are you talking about the
late
bats
summer,
under the
late
bridge?
summer
That
into
thing, or is it
Yeah, on the
something else?
bridge, like
Okay.
sometime like in the fall they'll like migrate back to Mexico and then migrate back some other time throughout the year. Yeah, I thought it was really nice. They have like a bat concert, like a couple bands that would go
Really?
and by the bridge.
The Bat Fest.
The Bat Fest, yeah, he's done, yeah.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Yeah, we went to that one last year. I mean, like the bats started coming out when like the light was out, so it was darkish.
Yeah.
You could only hear like all them out. Once it's, you couldn't see the swarms and the clouds of bats.
Yeah.
Because it's too dark.
It's too dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it all depends. Like some years or some days when it's still lit, they'll come out earlier. So it depends on them. Like whenever they decide to come out, sometimes they come out like when it's really dark and you can't see them.
And it's just because like they all wake up at the same time or what?
It just sort of depends on like who kick starts the migration pattern. Like as long as like a couple of bats
They
like
were
start
fine.
like going out,
Yeah.
then everybody
The rest
goes
will
and
follow
then
them.
if everybody's being lazy, then it'll take a while.
Yeah.
So one of them wakes up early, everyone wakes up early.
Early back gets the
Fair.
For sure.
So if you guys like go running there in the summertime, you know, the heat will like make it smell like, is it just the bats that are like laying around? I don't know, for me it smells like raw corn tortillas, like I don't know why, but that smell comes to mind whenever I'm like running through that area, like under the Congress Bridge, and I'm like, maybe it's got something to do with what we eat, but I'm sure it's organic.
Yeah, no, the one gives like a very distinct smell, especially when it's hot and like in bakes up. I don't know. Anyways, it's pretty toxic. You're not supposed to be
near it.
Well, I mean, like in an open space like the bridge, it's fine. But if you're like in a cavern or somewhere where there's a lot of guano and you're inhaling that,
Yeah.
it's extremely toxic for your lungs. It's pretty bad. But obvious.
I'll make more friends. Because it turns out when you work for a startup, you literally have to do everything.
So, Maya, you said you're doing animations now. Like, is that your?
Yes, it was a startup, so they just sent me to do everything, so.
Oh.
But I really like doing animations, and I've been doing them for like years, so that's why I'm presenting. Hopefully it can help you guys out.
That's cool. What are you doing exactly for the library now?
We're working on a software that's just like arranging like meetings for like people if they want to do like shared learning. We're just doing that. So right now we just sent UX design to the library, and we're kind of arranging like a meeting so they can just tell us like what works and what doesn't. Then after that is just like do all the PRs and we'll see what happens.
Do you actually work in person at the library?
No, it's remote. We talked to somebody who does work in the library, but it's more or less remote wherever we want.
Because I know the one here is pretty nice. I was just thinking there's like a tech department there or something like that.
I think it's just for the city, like they're just like just one department for everything in the city.
don't know about you guys, but I would love to work for HEB. I hear like HEB gives people like amazing food. If you go to their tech place.
Yeah, I have two clients that work there, and it's really good.
Yeah, they say it's amazing. The benefits are really good. The food's amazing. Like they feed you every single day. You don't have to buy food at all.
Take notes.
Pretty sick.
Is it the one in East Austin?
I don't know where it's at, but I had a friend who lived in Austin. She works for HEB. She's one of the project managers where I work for that. Yeah. And she's like, no, I don't go to the office. Like, even though we get free food. That's really nice. Lucky them.
I mean, they are HEB after all. Better be a perk, I guess. Meal simples for life.
Can I get started?
Alright, let's do it.
So for everyone looking at us on the live stream, we're Techqueria. It is a Latinx community for all of us here in tech. Our mission is to be more inclusive, and we give a platform. Mario is going to present to leverage our own community, and we're always looking for sponsors. So if you know anyone, or you're willing to, or wanting to come here on the stage, just email me at gerardo.vasquez@techqueria.org. We have a Lumen. You can always subscribe to our events in there, and we meet every month, once for a keynote, and another time during that same month for a happy hour, more of a social event, so you can get to know all of us and others in a more relaxed setting. So with that, Mario, thank you for joining. Can you please give us a couple of thoughts? Just like a quick segment here. Thank you for our sponsors, Austin Viewers, for sponsoring the beer. You can always grab them; they're in the back. And Capital Factory for providing us with the space and live stream. So thank you.
Hello, can you hear me, everyone in the back? Okay, thank you for joining us for the Techqueria event. My name is Mario Jimenez, and I'm going to do a presentation about CSS and JavaScript animations in React. So it's a short guide, and now what the presentation is all about is going to be a brief history of animations on websites, really brief introduction to CSS and JavaScript. I'm going to talk about why animations can improve page metrics, how you can integrate CSS animation libraries into your websites and React apps, and some really great examples about animations that you can see for yourself inside the presentation. So right now the presentation is not an all-inclusive guide, and I'm not going to say every single thing. It's just a really short introduction, just to get you to know more about animations and just get you more excited to do whatever you can and whatever you want. Okay, so a little bit about me. I was a former software engineer for Socially Pro, a startup company. Currently pursuing a master's degree in computer science. I'm a volunteer software engineer for Austin Public Library. Used to work for Open Austin, and sometimes I build software as a service platforms and online businesses. Sometimes I blog and create music and do photography. So, with that being, that's out of the way, I'm just going to do a brief history of animations and websites. So the earliest examples that you can see for animations would be for GIFs in the 1980s. This file type was mostly used by companies like, let's say, Nintendo or Microsoft, just to put them on their websites just so people can see just their logos or anything about the company. Just make it a little bit more animated, just to maybe bring more people in. So after that, websites started getting more traffic in the 1990s when most users were trying to use AOL Online, and also during the dial-up era. Companies started seeing more and more people going online. That's not just an exchange thing, that's mostly for university students. So after that happened, in early 2000s, the main animation tool was mostly just Adobe Flash. I'm not sure if you remember that. It was used by almost every single website and almost every single company. It was companies like Nokia had it, and just almost everyone had React in they had Flash in their websites. Unfortunately, it was very insecure. It was bad on mobile devices. So around the mid 2010s, it just started waning off, and people just stopped using it. So for animations, most nowadays they just use HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. And with JavaScript means that's the main thing that just moves around. There's roughly like 90% of all websites are using JavaScript. So a really brief introduction to CSS and to JavaScript. CSS was developed by Akon Lee. He's one of the head developers for the Opera browser. And the reason he made it is just to separate everything from the website. Basically, just wanted everything from animations for CSS, JavaScript for functionality, and HTML for website structure. So that's why it was developed. And for JavaScript, it was basically made by Brendan Eich during the Netscape era, just for animations when there was a browser wars going on in the 90s. So that's why he made it. So the latest animation tool that's available is going to be HTML5 and HTML5 Canvas. So for that, just wanted to let you know that you can use each HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript. You can use all three. You can use two. You can use one. It doesn't matter. You can just do whatever works for you. Okay. So that being said, there's just countless opportunities and countless projects that you can do with animation. You can do menus. You can do videos. You can do data science projects, interactive menus. You can do short films, product mock-ups, architectural mock-ups. Like if you're trying to sell some real estate or trying to sell a house, you can use an animation library and just present a 3D animation of just how it looks inside and how it looks outside. Or maybe if you're trying for e-commerce, you can also use animations to insert whatever product you want into a house, and you can see there's a mock-up. Amazon does something similar. I'm not sure if anyone's ever tried it, but they have that option. And you can also use it for marketing campaigns, movie promos, and music artists. So whatever you can think of, you can use animations for. So why animation can help you is just basically your animations can make your React app a little bit more interactive. They can make it more fun for technical users. Non-technical users and people who aren't programmers, they don't really know what's going on the website, but they really like how it looks and how it works. So you adding animations adds a little bit more flair and flavor to a website or web app, which in turn also leads to more people, higher click-through rate, and also leads to more sales and more profit for your company or for your startup. So the other thing that you can use for animations is that you can also redirect people to where you want to go, to where they want to go. You're trying to sell a product, you're trying to sell something, you can use animation to just direct somebody to exactly where you want it. So how can you integrate animations to websites? You can use multiple things. You can use custom code snippets. You can use external libraries, inline code, or you can also use animation library frameworks. And right now, if you go on NPM, you can just search up any type of animation, and let's just say animation for this and NPM, and it just gives you a list of things libraries that you can try. So it's really easy to just get started making anything. So that being said, there are some constant pitfalls to animations. If there's too many animations, that does tend to turn users off. They don't want something too complex, too many things going on at the same time. It's just too much visual content, and sometimes people just get turned off. That's something to keep in mind. If you make a website and it just looks bad for a user, that first impression is everything. If they don't like what they see, they're not going to come back. So whatever you make, just bear that in mind. The other thing is that if you have too much content, it doesn't load properly, and that's also a problem. Sometimes the website is sluggish, and that also leads to more dissatisfied users. And the other reason, if you do bad animations, that's also another thing that people just are not going to like it, and they're not going to come back to your website, your startup, or your business. And the final thing for animations is that you have to bear in mind that some animations just don't work on some browsers. So Chrome has some issues with WebDAL, and Safari sometimes CSS3. So just bear in mind, and the best course of action for that, for any animations, just test in multiple browsers just to make sure that it works. Okay. That being said, that was more or less everything that I wanted to talk about. Now I'm just going to show some animation libraries that you can just go to the website or for anything, and you can just get started right away, making whatever you want. So the first one is going to be a library called Animate on scroll, and basically you can see here that it's a React library that you can really easy insert some information for whatever div or whatever section of the website that you want, and it just makes it right away. So if you want to fade up, it makes it fade up, fade down. If you want something to fade right, it makes it. If you want to make something, let's say, just fade down a certain way, it makes it. Maybe you want something to flip over. You just add like one snippet of code after you install it, and then just does it for you. You don't have to do a lot of work. Maybe you want to make something that zooms in, it also makes it. So I'm going to tell Gerardo to see if he can put this in the meetup, and you can just you can go to the website, you can download and start right away. And you can just mix and match and do a lot of different things and a lot of customization. And for installing it, it's just as simple as an npm install, and you have it already. You can have it already in your project. Another animation library I want to show is a radiation library, where you can just install it and it makes any type of color radiation that you want really easy and quick. So let's say you want something like left and right for animation. It already has it pre-installed. You can put JavaScript or HTML or CSS and it makes it for you. Maybe you want a diagonal animation, it makes it for you. Maybe you want something that goes radial, like the fellow's just zooming in and out, you can make that too. Or maybe you want something like from top to bottom, that makes it too. Or maybe you want to make your own custom code and you can just edit it. Just taking that boilerplate code, you can just make anything you want. So the current animation library is going to be animate.css. This is something, if you use PowerPoint, it's something similar that you can just add a data, like a class name to anything that you want, and just makes it, and it just animates it right away. So let's say you want to do a rubber band for the animation, it makes it. Maybe you want to make it shake a little, maybe you want something to come down from the website browser, maybe you want it to bounce in, maybe you want it fade in and out. Like just one part of the website or the entire website, you can make that. Maybe you want it to click X. Maybe you want to something that shows up like maybe like a movie show or anything. It makes it everything for you. Or maybe you want to add more things like a jack in the box. It makes it everything for you without a lot of effort. The fourth animation library I'm going to show is full page. Have you ever seen? One question: have you ever seen these marketing websites that everything just like scrolls like really rigid, like you see it just shows one page and then you go down? I'm not sure if anyone's seen that, but this is a library that can offer that. So it's full page, you click on either the arrow keys or you scroll down and it just makes single page marketing website for you. So it just also has a slideshow option, so you can just make everything with not a lot of issues. And if you want to customize it, it also has customization options. And if you're using a mobile device or a phone, then it also has it for you. So you don't have to worry about, does my website or React app work on this specific browser, on this specific tablet, on this specific mobile phone. Everything's just, all the parameters are done for you. Okay, so the
Can I have something real quick about this? So what I noticed with these is the behavior of the scroll impacts sometimes how this behaves. So like if your scroll setting for your mouse is like if you're using a touchpad, it'll be more intuitive. But sometimes with like the scroll wheel, sometimes it doesn't. It like I don't know, it hangs onto the scroll points.
Yeah.
And so then if you don't go the full scroll, it like doesn't end up scrolling it. So those are like some things there where it's like, it's one thing to scroll with a thumb because you're just like inputting a long input, but like with the scroll, like I've noticed they're not all consistent. Like someone has to set the right settings for these, right? To like make
so
it
you're saying that scroll with a mouse is scroll different than scroll with a finger?
Yeah, so like for example right now if you try to scroll with 2 fingers and say you cut off in the middle, so like you just did a slow scroll. Yeah, I've noticed some that don't move. So I've noticed some interactions where like they'll like hang to it, but then they want you to go a little bit more to go on to the next page. So I'm not sure if that's dependent on the library in this case.
It's mostly dependent on the library. Right now, it's just like if you press even a little bit, it just goes up and
It's like
down.
one input, right? So
Yeah, but since it's an animation library and there's custom code, you can just change like how much like
Yeah,
you can just change it like how much people like put it up, push it up and down. So that's enough. It's just this is like example code, but you can just edit it when you want. Okay. So the other thing I'm gonna show is just some examples of animations working for very successful companies. I'm gonna show one for Apple, which is one of my favorites. You can see right now that everything is animated. Everything kind of pops out. Apple's trying to sell Macs, so they're just making it as interactive as possible. You can see different colors. You can see different screens. It does everything. And you're thinking that this is something like a little really like high-end or really hard to do, but no, these are just animations done like with one specific website, one specific team of Apple working on a website. So the other example I wanted to show is for MacBook Pro. You can also see animation being done here to just show like what a MacBook can do, what it can offer. And you can see right here, it just shows literally everything. Like how much like graphic wise, how powerful a MacBook would be and so on. Maybe you wanna also want users to see like how it looks on different sides. Maybe you have a product that you wanna see like different sizes and dimensions. Apple also has something similar that you can just, if you click here, the arrows, it just shows like different dimensions. It just just giving like users like a feel of how things are gonna be when they touch it or they buy it. So another animation library I wanted to show is gonna be one animation, a really good animated website I want to show is something for the Andy Warhol museum. So basically you can see right here that it's just really interactive, everything, there's a lot of animation going on, and it shows like his artwork and just everything he's done throughout the years, his history, his philosophy. And you can just change, it just changes like the way when you scroll it down. So that's one example, like if you're trying to do an art gallery, if you're trying to get a musician that's up to sell his brand, you can just use animation to just make your artist or whoever just like really pop out and come compared to the competition. So another library I want to show is going to be a little unrelated, but it's going to be for maybe you're trying to do data science projects, maybe you're trying to do something for like a local government, a local nonprofit. There's an animation library that you can use, it's called D-Tree. Basically, it just has like a lot of options that if you want to show data to maybe people in your city, maybe people in your state, maybe people who you work with, you can just use this animation library. You can see right now it's like really easy to, if you want to make something like a bar chart, it just makes it for you, and there's code like at the bottom that you can just edit, and it's really easy to just customize and just make whatever you want. Maybe you're trying to make some information about the United States, like maybe it's state or city, you want to show people like something's happening in here, something did happen, something's gonna happen, you can just use D-Tree or any similar library and it just makes it for you really easy. Or maybe you're trying to do another chart that just shows like consumer information or sales information. D3 offers also that option. And the last thing is going to be maybe if you try to do something related to like the world, like you're trying to sell like a product to the world, or you're trying to show information and showcase like events that are happening around the world. D3 offers that option that you can just make anything really easy. And for D3, it's a library on NPM, so you can just install it anytime you want and you can just try it out. And another thing you can make is you can make like video games, and if you use animations, it's a little bit difficult, but it's something that you can pull off. Like there's a trolley game, I'm not sure if you've seen that before. You can choose whether to pull the lever or just do nothing. I'm not sure what everyone wants to do here. Like, do you want to pull the lever or do nothing?
Pull it.
We're literally on the spot. Are we going?
So trolley setting for 5 people, you can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 person. What do you want to do?
Pull the lever.
Okay. that's one option that you can do. Another option I want to show, another thing that you can do is also, if you're trying to do projects like to showcase like the history of something, like maybe for a museum or something, you can also use animations for that. And you're gonna see like text scrolling here, and you think it's like something very difficult, but it's just like, just an example of one of the animation library I showed earlier. You're seeing like things like fade to the left, fade to the right, but it's just really simple animations just to make things pop in the website. Okay, and the last, I'm gonna show this a little bit, and I'm gonna show one last animation library that I really like. It's called D3, and it's also a React library. So I'm gonna show it right now. It's again another website, another animation library that anyone can just download and easily like make anything you want. It is a bit of a learning curve just to get it working, but it's really like working. Like maybe you're trying to do something for an ecology-based project, trying to show, maybe trying to save a rainforest or a public park. You have the option of just making something with D3 like this project. It just showcase like every single thing in a city, in a country, whatever. You're seeing that it seems like a lot of things, like it's really complicated, but no, this is just, again, this is an animation library that you can just build on your own, maybe not right away, but it's something that you can just build by yourself. Another one I'm going to show is for the moon landing that's available for D3, and you can see it's, it shows like just before like the moon landing happened, and it shows like it doesn't have any audio right now, but it just shows JFK just giving like the speech before they headed to the moon. You can also have the option of sending a rocket to the moon. Again, you're seeing all this 3D animation, you think this is like something really complex, but no, this is again just that, this is one library doing everything.
And this is actually processing geometry right now, like it's rendering.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So you can make like a rocket project, maybe. If you go to D3, the website, there is actually a NASA project that if you scroll around, there should be another like NASA project, and it shows like satellites going out of space and so on. Okay, another animation, another example that we show going to be one more. Oh yeah, the example I was saying for NASA. It just shows like all the information that's going on in real time. And it also shows like space shuttles like moving and everything. Or maybe you're trying to sell maybe a camera for any type of product. This library also has that option that you can just showcase in full 3D and interactive camera just for users or hobbyists or people who are interested. And again, this is just a simple like JavaScript library that just shows everything. Or maybe you're trying to sell a car. That's another. If you're trying to sell a car, a house, or anything, you can just use any of these. You can just use the D3 to just make anything that you want. So there's a lot of examples, so I'm just gonna show maybe one or two more. I'm not sure if you've seen Crossy Road, but you can. This app was also made in D3. It's I think an Android app or WhatsApp. Android or Apple, you can see that it's really easy to make. The other thing, another one I want to show is for Renault. If you're trying to like maybe showcase a new car, or you're trying to showcase any other like a band, you can easily just make an animation library like that. I mean, like an animation project like that, it just shows like in full 3D. And you can just like with a mouse pad or your Android or with your mobile or tablet device, it just shows it all in 3D. This is all rendered in real time. that's some examples. Again, I will tell Geraldo to just leave it at the presentation in the meetup, just so if anyone wants to install it or use anything, they can just use it in any time. Okay, so in conclusion, adding website animations to your website React to make everything look much better. That can turn people away from the project, so just maybe do some A/B testing first on your computer, your devices, then you A/B testing on maybe small scale like sessions of your website React, and just to make sure people like the animation and maybe don't like it. Also use animations in moderation, don't go overboard with everything that you can make. Test your code with before you shipping, and don't be intimidated to make complex projects, because you can do any type of project or web project or React that I showed you today. You can even make it even better. You just have to be dedicated and just test them. You can just make literally anything you want. So that's the end of the presentation. Here's some of my links if you want to connect or just talk about anything. You can just reach me out there. I think, again, it'll be all on the website, but everything's there. So, I believe that's it. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Any of these animations and like examples of web pages that you showcased, can you place any of that into, say you already have a web page of your own, you can just grab it, put it in your web page?
Yeah, you can do that. You just have to, again, just make sure that it works on your website first, test it out, and then you can put it. Most of the examples I show, it's just like libraries, so you can integrate them into them.
Were those presets, or can you incorporate anything?
The things I showed first were presets, but you can just edit the code to just make it work for you. So what I showed with maybe animate.css that you saw the text like moving around, you just install it on the project, put the like class name or data name, and then it just changes it. It just like makes the animation on its own.
Have you used a workflow to develop, whatever ideas you had when you by using Claude or any like AI generated workflows? So in any way, have you found some kind of nuggets with?
What type of workflows are you using?
So for example, like say you have you start with some concept usually, right? So like what's the vision of what you want to like get the animation for?
Yeah.
And so have you like worked around where you might need prompts to help get some, stuff going so that you don't end up iterating too much manually essentially? So this question comes without much prior knowledge. Just conceptually from the concept of can you collaborate with AI to kind of find have you experienced anything?
I'm studying a little bit of AI, but it's a little bit too early to see if I can integrate anything and just like make the work a little shorter. So far, I'm just like making it on my own. Usually I just use Figma or Sketchbook just to like make all the designs and make all the decisions, and then just iterate from there.
Yeah. So would you say that for asset creation, so you mentioned Figma, is that the one you mostly use to generate artifacts and assets, essentially?
Yeah, I use Figma sometimes, basically just code or any maybe design generator or color generator, but mostly yeah, Figma. Anybody have any other questions? Okay. Well, that's the presentation. Thank you for having me, and I hope everyone has a good day. Practice a little bit on your own and you'll get it.
Yes, that would be so.
Have you ever experienced where
Well, there's a way
the wait time is good.
No, it's just like.
There's in Chrome and Firefox, there's a tool that uses like see how long it's you can see like seconds, milliseconds, like how long it
I mean, I was thinking like, because like I have mostly what it was just like my
so if you do something like that, you can just tabs. And there's options like you can follow the speed, and like the dimensions different. You can just test it most of the time.
Like just tell us story because that's what it is. It's telling your story, and it's like this is what I've done. This is what I've done. Like showing like what this project is. It took me 30 minutes or 15 straight. Yeah. You know, without something like that. And then it's real a little bit more like
I also did another presentation on CSS functional programming.
Yeah.
But I can go with that.
Courses, forget you have. You're like, oh yeah, bonuses for the day.
Yeah, because it's
I wonder like how it's like.
I go back there. How much are you doing? How much are you Oh, not too much, but it's a lot of like I could they give you like this is what you want to do. Yeah, but every single one. Like okay, yeah, this looks right. And then go to the next step, and it's like now do this. And everything's wrong. You gotta go back.
That's a lot of business.
That's what I've seen, and the person who does it,
They're like giving you less. They're giving you less information.
probably more, but
Yeah, I forgot that's funny. It was like
they do that graphic design.
it's like all right. I'm just like, it's working. Like, it's like so less. We don't know. It's the website. Dude, there's no more. What are you guys doing? What? Oh yeah.
It's nice meeting you guys.
See you.
See you guys Thursday.
You'll be on.
Okay.
They have like a design person. Yeah. So they do comments. You want to
I might play with a little bit of that and sort of like.
I enjoyed it. It's like I did the
Right now, I'm pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It depends, like, at the end of the year, like, on the sort of die off of like,
So I sent them an email there.
one song called I had to
There was one code from last year.
if you want, actually, you have a tutorial for,
So I'm trying to see if they use it.
I can do
Exactly. For us, it's from February to end of April. You know, tax season, this is like biggest actual, yeah, and then nothing from June to like June through late August, September, nothing. September, October, November,
Yeah,
busy.
I learned so much. Now
You're watching the videos and stuff. The videos are so good. You know that from November, December, January. You can tell.
That's like one of the first videos.
But it's very barbell. You like a lot of lessons extreme on both ends, and then
Yeah, I think every 3 months in
Data structures that matter.
That's cool.
So when you have no idea when it's gonna be.
Yeah, the first time I
That's
myself,
it.
I did this, I don't know.
Yeah.
Other than like get it all on my.
Yeah.
It's a lot of.
Real quick, I might go check out this.
The next time you.
Yeah.
So I was doing the rate project and I tap complete. Last week, I'm like, no.
I've done that all the time. Like it's like a big guess.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been exact on it. React.js.
So I was like,
the goal is that you're going to be distributed on all the networks like because that's what stuff is like the space. More and more tools are there feature sets. So all these tools are trying to get that down. How can a manufacturer assess it and then how can the
static stationary.
Pero igual, o sea, hay gente que quiere comprar casas, gente que quiere, que tienen hijos,
I did most of it.
yo siempre uso la vieja fórmula, güey.
And then I did.
20% no se toca.
Yeah.
El 30%
I finished it, I was like, alright.
cosas
I finished it.
persona quiere comprar, y luego el 50%
That one is
así,
cool.
pues,
I want to go back and
ahorrar el mínimo 20%. Eso te va a decir,
Yeah, there's extra bonuses.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
go back and forth.
y luego ya cuando empiezas a ganar un poco
But
más,
I really
cuando
wanted
son las
to put that
etapas, vamos a tener más a
on
de cuenta y impuestos,
Yeah,
por gastos,
estimation in my learning so far, it's not like everyone's doing it that way.
No, like I wanted to embed it.
Yeah.
I wanted to embed it in JavaScript.
But ultimately, there's a lot of other realizing, okay, this is how I finalize the work materials and we're gonna get into
Cause like
y también me tienen que aprobar
you have to get, there's a JavaScript library that works
como es
it's not one.
porque no, pues como es regulado, pues a mí
Like there's just like a lot of things in the way.
changes like JavaScript and suddenly change the
Or
y se la meten a la chapa, güey.
have to get some project
Yeah.
so there's a lot of things of how this building.
So yeah, like and there's like a library that gives you a lot of support, but there's a lot of
Sí, pero esas pláticas se necesitan para los residentes, o sea, los que se van a graduar, ajá, y pues de esos, pues, tienen que hablar de
I was impressed by it actually. I was
pero también ellos tienen un problema donde ya empiezan a ganar más dinero y se creen dioses, quieren estar gastando en carros, en casas, en relojes, es como que no puedes así que
which I was like, once I figure out how to use it,
y siento que no hay mucha presión para ellos.
Well, the thing is, all of them
Just try to find problems.
the stuff that's on GitHub, 99% is that's what somebody we were
Sí, voy a. I mean, things are
assistants and I was like, well, I know there are no little things that are annoying. So really like properties and put it like algorithms is not
Eso es que quería pensar porque
no manufacturers care to create them. So then you have
something
iba a ir a la
like that.
iba a ir como que
I'm sure like what they're
ajá,
seeing.
pero eso
the other one
están
is
pues
just trust.
la evidencia
Depends on the company.
tienes que
But
buscar
they have a website, because it will fit out the big stuff, but.
so are you trying to use more front end stuff?
take
Which
care of
one?
those
Yeah.
good and who's already been
Is it 2 RTX in the back end?
But been like.
No, it's just,
how can you
I don't know
really
anything about it.
like a small project?
For my school project, we have to make a full stack, and we chose, I chose Next.js, and they all.
I just realized that.
Cause I gave like one of those, if I did it, here's why you should use Next.js.
Ah, okay, it is.
Yeah, I was like, great.
Okay.
None of us know how to use it, so I guess I got one. Yeah, no, I already, the link that I sent you, I already set up cross-border and then added, like, a mock-up of what we were gonna do on it. I mean, I don't know how to do, like, I got one specific, but I don't know how to do it. Yeah, incorporate that. That's probably good. Because honestly, a lot of guys say about this, I'm glad you had to do it, the kind of person that like really likes drawing.
Some projects.
I mean, it helps, especially if you're trying to do but if I'm just thinking about those animations, and then I'd seal this up,
The narrative is based on that.
that's really cool, like, I wrote all those down.
We're
I'm gonna make our website pop. Cause I don't know where we're gonna post it, but I just want to make something so that the teams can get integrated. But one of the things I was like,
But I meant this, that like, good. It's all about partner launch, so the platforms you can really start doing it. So I bet this is
Siempre hay eventos gratis, cuando se hace conferencias de 8 a 5, 5 a 12, fiesta de las 8.
So I need to like.
¿Vives aquí cerca?
Puedes darte la vuelta. Quédate.
cucumber and
Well, I've also kind of had the goal, like, how can I stay in this?
Ya, pues ya tengo tu,
Given the kind of credentials I have,
the startup.
but I've just found the right people to kind of see, okay, what kind of value, so what kind of game can I do, but it kept me around, what kind of decision making happens.
Once you give up on
what are the people really think
building,
about. So my intention was to stick to that code and
this called
I think now I have more odds of
the interface. So then you just use this and then you just connect your AI
but no,
back
this is
into it.
easier to where
And
So let's see what it actually do with the company now.
I'm
because it's super
Así dijo
efficient.
Went to the ATX.
It's been what was
It's
there
already-
solid.
Actually already
Ya,
happened.
But not with APIs.
Sí.
Like, not connected to
No sé por qué le
something.
dicen así.
Oh, just like it.
Yeah.
Not a phone, but like,
No, o sea,
anything,
a
company that makes.
why would you want to saber por eso?
But then it's more like,
En Instagram que se llama,
it's more like,
algo así,
proprietary
como
to that
lo
company, without money to pay.
Güey, es como la esquina de la ciudad. Y no es puro, ya es pura rama. Ajá, así chocando.
Small and efficient.
Y es la página más seguida en todo el país. O sea, tiene ya casi millones de followers. Ajá, entonces pues cada vez que abro la página es como breaking bad, algo está pasando.
Ándale, la loca, la
Es lo mismo, una página de
esa es una de Facebook, ¿no? Que
I got
es como noticias de la
Aquí se agarran los chingazos y yo grabando.
No, y acá es igual, pero, o sea, creciendo obviamente no había esas cosas, pero ahora me pongo a pensar, pues tal vez, si paso por eso, nomás que yo no veía,
no lo veías,
no lo veía, güey,
estás en tu
lo busca y
This is actually the direct